Memory is one of the most fascinating aspects of the human mind. We all experience moments where we feel sharp and capable of recalling the smallest details. But there are also times when our minds seem foggy, and simple recollections elude us. In our fast-paced world, where we're constantly bombarded with information and distractions, it's no wonder that many of us struggle with memory retention. However, there's a secret trick that can help you dramatically improve your memory, potentially even triple it, in just minutes. This might sound like an overstatement, but the science behind this simple technique is remarkably effective. The trick? It lies in a powerful combination of visualization, association, and emotional engagement. These three elements work together to create stronger neural connections, making it easier for your brain to store and retrieve information. Let's break it down and explore how it works, and how you can apply this method to your daily life to enhance your memory with minimal effort. First, visualization is a key component of this memory-boosting technique. Our brains are wired to process visual information much more efficiently than text or numbers. In fact, studies have shown that the human brain can process images 60,000 times faster than text. This means that when you convert a piece of information into a visual image, your brain has an easier time processing, storing, and retrieving it. The trick here is to make the image vivid and memorable, something that stands out in your mind. The more exaggerated or unusual the image, the more likely it is to stick in your memory. For example, imagine you're trying to remember a list of groceries: apples, bread, milk, and eggs. Instead of simply repeating the words in your mind, visualize a giant apple juggling loaves of bread while standing in a pool of milk with eggs floating around it. This image is ridiculous, exaggerated, and completely out of the ordinary, precisely what makes it memorable. Your brain is more likely to hold on to this absurd visual than a simple list of words. The second element is association. Our brains are built to make connections between pieces of information. By linking new information to something you already know, you create a mental hook that makes it easier for your brain to retrieve the memory later. This technique is often referred to as the memory palace or method of loci, an ancient mnemonic system used by Roman orators to memorize long speeches. The idea is to associate each piece of information with a familiar location or object in your mind, creating a mental map that guides you to the memory when you need it. Continuing with the grocery list example, let's say you want to remember the first item, apples. You could associate the apples with your front door. Imagine a mountain of apples piled up right at the entrance of your house. Now, whenever you think of your front door, your brain will automatically recall the image of the apples. For the next item, bread, you could associate it with your living room, picturing an enormous loaf of bread lounging on your sofa. As you mentally walk through your home, each room or object serves as a memory trigger, helping you recall the items on your list. The beauty of association is that it takes advantage of the brain's natural ability to link concepts together. The stronger and more meaningful the association, the easier it is to remember the information. This method can be used for much more than just grocery lists. It works for any kind of information you need to retain, from names and dates to complex facts and figures. The third and final element of this memory-boosting technique is emotional engagement. Emotions play a critical role in memory formation. When something triggers a strong emotional response, whether it's joy, fear, surprise, or even disgust, the brain is more likely to store that information long-term. This is why you can easily recall emotionally charged events from your past, while mundane details may fade away. To leverage this in your favor, try to attach an emotional component to the information you want to remember. Going back to our grocery list example, you can add an emotional layer to your visualizations. Perhaps you imagine that the apples at your front door are a gift from a long-lost friend, stirring feelings of surprise and happiness. Or maybe the loaf of bread on your sofa is a comically oversized version that makes you laugh every time you think of it. By adding emotional color to the image, you make it even more memorable. Now that we've broken down the three key components, visualization, association, and emotional engagement, let's put them all together. Suppose you're preparing for a presentation and need to remember the main points without using notes. Instead of trying to memorize the text word for word, use these techniques to create vivid mental images for each point. For example, if your first point is about increasing productivity, you might visualize yourself racing down a track, crossing the finish line with a gold medal in hand. If the next point is about teamwork, imagine a group of people forming a human pyramid and celebrating together. Add an emotional layer by imagining the joy and excitement of victory. As you move through your presentation, mentally walk through each of these images, allowing your brain to recall the points effortlessly. By engaging both your visual and emotional memory, along with strong associations, you'll find that the information comes to you naturally. This process takes only minutes, but has the potential to significantly boost your ability to recall information. Another key advantage of this method is that it can be applied to nearly any situation. Whether you're studying for an exam, trying to remember a phone number, or simply keeping track of daily tasks, the combination of visualization, association, and emotional engagement makes it easier to retain information and access it when you need it. What's more, this technique is not only effective but also fun. By transforming mundane information into vivid, emotional, and often amusing mental images, you make the process of memorization much more enjoyable. It's important to note that, like any skill, memory can be trained and improved with practice. The more you use this technique, the faster and more efficient your brain will become at creating and recalling these mental images. With regular practice, you'll notice that your memory becomes sharper, more reliable, and more responsive. It's not an exaggeration to say that you can triple your memory capacity simply by making a habit of using these strategies in your daily life. In conclusion, the secret trick to tripling your memory in just minutes lies in harnessing the power of visualization, association, and emotional engagement. By converting information into vivid mental images, linking those images to familiar concepts, and adding emotional weight to them, you create stronger neural connections that make it easier for your brain to store and retrieve information. This technique is simple, quick, and highly effective, proving that with just a little creativity and focus, you can significantly enhance your memory in no time at all.